Yo, this is your girl Minnie Crumpler. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about the 10 common mistakes to avoid when you are diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. I was diagnosed when I was about 8 years old, and I've had it for 3 years before that. So when I was 5, my tics didn't manifest until I was 5, and I had no clue what was going on, and I just didn't know why my body was making weird movements, and I was making weird sounds, and I was blinking my eyes. My first symptom was blinking my eyes really hard until I heard this rush in my ear. I was clueless when I was diagnosed with Tourette's. At least my dad was a doctor, so he knew, kind of had an idea of what was going on. But I was pretty scared, and this is just 10 common mistakes to avoid when you are diagnosed with Tourette's, so it'll help you. The first one is feeling alone. You should never ever feel alone, because a lot of people nowadays have Tourette's. It's more common than you think. A lot of children have it, a lot of adults have it, a lot of adult people have onset Tourette's, which means they don't have it till later in life, but usually it's more common to have Tourette's when you first are a child. So you're not alone. There's always Facebook groups, there's always communities out there, there's always Tourette syndrome chapters across the nation. The second thing is feeling self-pity, feeling sorry for yourself, and feel self-loathing. I cannot express how hard it is to go through Tourette's without feeling self-pity and feeling bad for yourself, but you shouldn't, because there are many other worse things that you can have instead of Tourette's. You can lose a limb, you can be paralyzed, you can have cancer. And I'm sorry if those of you who do have these are watching this. I'm just giving examples of worst case scenarios compared to Tourette's. But there's many things to be grateful for, and even though Tourette's is not the greatest, you shouldn't feel sorry for yourself, because you have many other talents and gifts. Third is giving up on treatments right off the bat when you know that there's no cure. There is no cure for Tourette's. There is no cure, and the Tourette's Association of America, which is a scientific organization, even them, they don't have any cure, but it doesn't mean that there's no ways to cope with it. There's no treatments that can help you reduce the tics, manage the tics more. And there's so many different treatments out there, guys. There's obviously pharmaceuticals, there's Chinese medicine, there's homeopathic, there's acupuncture, there's supplements that you can take that helps Tourette's, there's obviously exercise that helps reduce tics a lot, there's diet, there's many different routes you can take. Every person's body's different, so it depends on you, and you should try them all before not considering it, So the fourth is thinking you can't do things. That is hard, because when you are having Tourette's and you have severe Tourette's, it can be debilitating, and it can be relentless, and you feel like you can't do anything, because you can't drive, you can't go to libraries because you make noises, you can't drive because you have dangerous wheel jerking tics, you can't go out in public, you can't go to school because of its embarrassment, and it's just hard to be in the classroom, you can't go to work. But the thing is, if you think you're right or you're wrong, you're right about that, because there's a quote that goes, whether you think you can do it or you can't do it, you're right, because it's all about self-belief. If you have self-limiting, if you have if you have limiting self-beliefs, that comes true, because you keep thinking to yourself, I can't do this, so it becomes true. When in reality, you can do a lot of things. There's things that you can't do, like if you really can't drive because your Tourette's is so bad, then you can't drive. But there are other ways around it, like taking the bus or having different governmental assistance that help you get rides to appointments and medical appointments and grocery stores. There are things that you have no control over, like your Tourette's, but there are things that you can't control, like your self-belief. And if you think that you can't do things, you are right, because that's the way you think things, and that's the way it's stuck in your brain. So you're gonna have this pattern of limiting self-beliefs, and you just gotta believe in yourself, and you can do things. It's just you got to do it in an unconventional way. You got to do it in a different route. You got to do it differently than other normal people do it. Number 5 is feeling hopeless about the future. I understand this because I feel like I can't do a lot of things. It kind of ties in with number 4. It's feeling hopeless about the future. You can't do things. And when you feel hopeless about the future, you don't really want to live, and that's not good because it'll lead to depression and all of that jazz. It's just not good to not have hope, because hope is out there, and hope is such a strong word and a strong emotion, a strong feeling. And even if you had a bad day today with your Tourette's, it doesn't mean tomorrow can't be better. Like, you shouldn't give up because today is a bad day when tomorrow could be a lot better. Feeling hopeless about the future, you don't know what it holds, so don't even consider that you can't do something in the future because you can't do it. It's just, there's always tomorrow. 6 is avoiding the public. I cannot emphasize how important this is not to do when you have Tourette's or when you're diagnosed with Tourette's, because when you avoid the public, you shut down connection with other people, you shut down your self-esteem, you shut down your self-belief, you shut down social life, and you can't do that because that will make you feel worse about yourself and about your Tourette's, and it's like an ongoing vicious cycle. You cannot avoid the public because you need to go out there and be yourself and let yourself be known and show who you are. Let your light shine. 7 is giving up on yourself and having limiting self-beliefs. So don't ever give up on yourself, because if you give up on yourself, who's gonna be there for you? Like, if you don't love yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, who is? And you gotta believe in yourself and don't give up at all, because if you give up, you've given up your life, you've given up your hope, you've given up your dreams, given up your dignity, you've given up your values, and just a bunch of things you're giving up on, and life is so beautiful, it's not worth giving up on. 8 is little to no research. It's so important that even though you have Tourette's, you should still research and look up on things about yourself, about the Tourette's, the condition itself, and continue learning and growing and finding yourself through that. Because if you think that you don't have to do research and learn because you have the condition, it's not good, because you're kind of settling for less and limiting yourself from learning and growing and learning about yourself. So always look up literature, academic journals, websites about Tourette's and how you can cope with it, how you can manage it. Books, there's so many books on Tourette's out there. There's just, so I can link some books down below that are helpful to me, that was helpful to me. And it's just so much you learn about yourself, even if you think that you know everything, but you actually don't. There's so many new research that comes out there, and there's breakthroughs and stuff. So yeah. 9 is thinking you need to settle down for less because of your condition. You should never ever settle down for less, because there's always ways you can improve yourself and ways you can expand your knowledge and expand yourself. And whether that's relationships or work or hobbies, you can always go for better. Like, there's obviously you can't always do that. If you're in a relationship, you can't be like, I'm always gonna find the next best person. That's not a good way of thinking. But just, if you're being hurt in the relationship, or if you're not treated well because they don't understand your condition, don't settle for that. Go for someone who understands you, who loves you, who will accept you for who you are, who embraces you. And that's what I mean by not settling for less. If you are mistreated, move on. If you are not respected at work, move on. So 10, which is the last one, is making excuses for yourself. Wow, I cannot express how important this is. Making excuses for your behavior, your bad behavior, making excuses for your reasons for not doing your passion, or for not moving on from a bad relationship. It's just, you shouldn't make excuses for yourself, because you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that. And when you make excuses for yourself, you downgrade yourself and you lose your self-respect. And that is all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's very short and very sweet. Actually, it's only been 11 minutes. It's pretty long, but that's okay. So tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm Minnie Crumpler, and thank you.